There's a quiet kind of strength that appears when you stop allowing every situation to pull you into an emotional reaction. That strength is called detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care deeply, but you've learned to choose your peace first. It's the understanding that not everything deserves your energy, not every comment needs a response, and not every storm requires your presence. It's realizing that reacting to everything only scatters your focus and steals your calm. When you detach, you're not running away, you're rising above. You start to see things as they are, not as your emotions paint them to be. Life constantly throws moments designed to test your balance. People who misunderstand you, situations that frustrate you, words that sting. But if you meet every one of them with instant reaction, you hand them the remote control to your mood. Detachment takes that control back. It's not coldness, it's clarity. You can listen without absorbing negativity. You can care without collapsing. You can engage without being entangled. That's what emotional maturity looks like. Choosing to respond from wisdom, not from wounds. When you master detachment, your world begins to change. You stop being tossed around by opinions, fears, and noise. You start standing still in your own truth. The drama that once felt irresistible begins to lose its power over you. You realize that peace is not found in controlling what happens. It's found in mastering how you respond. And that mastery begins when you decide, I don't have to react. There's a saying, you can't calm the storm, but you can calm yourself and the storm will pass. That's detachment in action. It's not about pretending that life doesn't hurt or that words don't sting. It's about trusting that you are bigger than the moment. You breathe, you observe, you let it pass. And in that calm, you discover something profound. That real power doesn't come from control, but from composure. The moment nothing external can shake you, you've already won. Silence is one of the most underestimated forms of strength. In a world where everyone is racing to be heard, the ability to stay silent becomes an act of power. There's something profoundly confident about a person who doesn't feel the need to explain, defend, or prove themselves. Silence is not weakness, it's control. It's the recognition that truth doesn't always need an announcement. Sometimes the most powerful response to chaos is no response at all. When you choose silence over argument, you are not surrendering. You are conserving your energy for what truly matters. You are refusing to let external noise dictate your internal state. Because the moment you start explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you, you lose. Not because you are wrong, but because you have given your peace to someone who doesn't value it. Silence is wisdom. It teaches you that your energy is precious and that not every situation deserves your engagement. You see, people often react out of emotion, not understanding. When you respond with silence, you disrupt that cycle. You create space, a pause where emotion fades and reason enters. In that space, your silence becomes a mirror. It reflects back the noise of others while keeping your own energy still. And that stillness commands respect, even from those who may not understand it. You don't have to fight every battle. Some are won simply by refusing to enter the arena. Let your actions, your consistency, and your peace do the talking. Because silence supported by confidence is louder than any defense spoken in desperation. The truth is that time reveals everything, the genuine, the false, the loyal, the pretender. You don't have to rush to prove what time will eventually show. So, when life provokes you, pause. When people doubt you, keep building. When they misjudge you, stay calm. In silence, you preserve your dignity. Silence isn't the absence of words, it's the presence of strength. It's the choice to rise above noise, to protect your energy, and to trust that your calm carries a message words never could. Remember this, the loudest person rarely holds the most power, the calmest one always does. Every emotion you feel is a form of energy. Anger, joy, fear, love, peace, all of them are fuel that either builds you or burns you. The problem is not that we feel too much, but that we often spend our emotional energy carelessly. We react to every word, every look, every small inconvenience as if it deserves a piece of our peace. But here's the truth: your emotional energy is a limited resource. Where you invest it determines the quality of your life. When you waste it on what doesn't matter, you have nothing left for what truly does. Emotional intelligence is not about suppressing your feelings, it's about directing them wisely. It's the ability to feel deeply without drowning, to care without carrying unnecessary burdens. Every reaction has a cost. The more you allow trivial things to disturb your mind, the more you drain yourself. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Does this situation deserve my energy? More often than not, the answer is no. And that's when you learn to pause, breathe, and let go. That pause is where your power lies. Imagine your emotions as currency. You wouldn't hand out your money to everyone who asks, so why hand out your peace to everything that happens? Save your emotional energy for the things that build you, your goals, your growth, your relationships that uplift you. When you stop overreacting, you start overseeing. You begin to witness life instead of being consumed by it. That's when clarity replaces chaos. People often confuse emotional control with emotional coldness, but it's the opposite. The person who controls their emotions is the one who feels them fully yet chooses their response consciously. They don't allow temporary emotions to make permanent decisions. They know when to speak and when to stay still. They understand that not every battle is worth fighting, and not every opinion needs to be corrected. That understanding is wisdom. So, protect your emotional energy as if it were your most valuable possession, because it is. When you learn to spend it intentionally, you stop surviving life and start mastering it. And in that mastery, you find something rare, calm that cannot be disturbed, and power that doesn't need to be shown. True confidence doesn't shout, it doesn't need to. It walks softly, stands tall, and lets its presence speak long before words ever do. The most confident people are rarely the loudest in the room because they are not performing for validation. They are grounded in self-awareness. Insecurity, on the other hand, is noisy. It constantly seeks attention, recognition, and reassurance. It tries to prove worth instead of knowing it. Real confidence doesn't need to prove, it simply is. When you are secure within yourself, you stop seeking permission to exist. You stop explaining your path to those who haven't walked it. You stop needing applause to believe in your value. You move differently, with quiet certainty and self-respect. You understand that silence doesn't mean weakness. It means strength that doesn't depend on approval. Confidence is born from knowing who you are, and more importantly, who you are not. It's about standing firm in your truth, even when others question it. The loudest energy in a room is often the most uncertain. It needs to be seen, validated, acknowledged. But the calm one, the one who listens more than they speak, who observes more than they react, that person holds power. They don't compete, they create. They don't chase attention, they attract respect. Their stillness commands more presence than another's noise ever could, because when you truly know yourself, external opinions lose their power over you. Confidence grows quietly through self-trust. It's built every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you choose integrity over convenience, every time you rise after doubt. You don't have to convince anyone of your worth when your actions already prove it. The goal is not to be liked or noticed. It's to be at peace with yourself. And that peace radiates louder than any performance ever could. So, stop trying to announce your strength, live it. Stop trying to display your confidence, embody it. The most powerful people aren't those who control others, but those who control themselves. Let your calm be your loudest statement, because real confidence doesn't demand attention. It quietly commands it, and that's the kind of power that never fades. Between what happens to you and how you respond, there lies a space, a small, invisible pause that holds incredible power. That pause is where emotional maturity begins. Most people rush through it. They react before they reflect, speak before they think, decide before they understand. But those who learn to master that pause, to take a breath before responding, begin to take command of their entire life. The pause is not weakness, it's awareness. It's the ability to step back from the chaos of the moment and ask, is this reaction worth my peace? When something triggers you, a word, an action, an insult, the mind instantly wants to defend, to strike back, to prove something. But reacting instantly often leads to regret. The pause, however, allows you to respond from strength instead of impulse. It gives you the chance to rise above the emotion and choose wisdom over ego. It's a moment of calm that changes everything, because every battle you avoid fighting within yourself saves you from a war outside yourself. Mastering the pause also means trusting time. Not every situation demands an immediate answer. Not every emotion deserves instant expression. When you pause, you give your heart and mind a moment to realign. You begin to understand that patience is not about waiting. It's about remaining peaceful while things unfold. And in that peace, your decisions become clearer, your words become fewer, and your presence becomes stronger. This pause can save relationships, protect reputations, and preserve self-respect. It teaches you that control is not about domination, but direction. It's choosing to steer your emotions rather than letting them steer you. Even in moments of anger or hurt, the pause reminds you that your response defines you far more than what provoked you. So practice it. When life tests you, breathe. When people push your buttons, breathe again. That single breath, that tiny pause, can transform the outcome of the moment. It's not avoidance, it's mastery. The one who can pause before reacting owns the moment. And in that ownership, you discover peace, power, and wisdom that few ever reach. The pause may be silent, but it speaks the language of strength. Peace is the ultimate flex, not the kind you show off, but the kind you quietly live. It's the strength that doesn't need to prove, the calm that doesn't need to announce itself. In a world that constantly pulls you toward reaction, competition, and noise, maintaining your peace is a rare kind of rebellion. When you can walk through chaos and remain centered, when you can be surrounded by negativity and still choose calm, that's power in its purest form. Anyone can be peaceful when life is gentle. True mastery is staying calm when everything around you tempts you to lose yourself. Peace isn't passive, it's a decision, one that takes courage, awareness, and discipline. It means refusing to let external situations dictate your internal state. It's understanding that no amount of argument, attention, or validation is worth your mental balance. You realize that the real victory is not in proving your point, but in preserving your inner stillness. Because the moment you let others disturb your peace, you hand them control over your emotions. And once you give that away, you lose your power. When you operate from peace, you see things clearly. You stop overreacting and start understanding. You stop chasing approval and start respecting your own alignment. Life's noise becomes background music, something you can hear without being consumed by it. Peace gives you perspective, and perspective gives you wisdom. You begin to see that most battles are not worth fighting, most opinions are not worth absorbing, and most chaos is not yours to fix. The truth is, peace is not found in perfect conditions. It's found in your ability to stay grounded despite imperfection. It's the quiet confidence of knowing that you don't have to attend every argument, you don't have to respond to every provocation, and you don't have to carry every weight. Your calm is your currency, your stillness your shield. The more you protect it, the stronger you become. So let them talk, let life test you, let moments unfold. But stay calm, because peace is not the absence of problems, it's the presence of power. And when nothing outside can disturb you, you've reached a level of strength that speaks louder than words ever could.